Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Beyond Consulting, your business strategy podcast. I'm your host, Fiji, and I'm really glad to have you here. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Beyond Consulting. Today we have a really amazing guest here. So, for those that don't know her, her name is Tetiana, or for close friends, Tanya. Tanya, tell us, who are you after 6 p.m.?
After 6 p.m., she decided to start this.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm Tanya. I will a bit tell about myself overall. I'm originally from Ukraine, but right now I'm based in Poland. So I've been here already for 2.5 years. Moved here, find a job in boat. So working there after 6 p.m. Basically, this is the fun part of my life when I swap my spreadsheets for yoga mates, trying to practice some asanas, doing dance classes, sport, Pilates, whatever. So trying to balance out a little bit the stress that I receive at work.
Okay, okay.
And, yeah, so yeah, I have a little passion for fashion. Fashion,
You is that influencer on TikTok. She started I don't know, maybe a month ago, and out of your videos, I see 3 minutes posted, 200 likes.
No, I don't use it many likes, only
You're,
views.
you're going viral. Come
But
on.
I'm getting there, yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I love shopping because yeah, I think that nothing heals the soul of the woman better than a pair of new trendy shoes. So sometimes I'm doing that stuff also after work.
Do you have a favorite shop? Where is your go-to place when it's a really hard day?
Mm, and of course, I don't know, it's not really popular, but I love it, like the quality and everything, the style.
Okay, okay, okay. Place to go. Honestly, I don't even know this brand.
Yeah, but it's I don't know, it's well known, but I don't know, people ignore it.
Okay, okay. You're a trendsetter. That's why. But this is you after 6 p.m. You're doing a yoga, shopping, being an
Yeah.
influencer, and from 9 or whatever time you start, because I know that sometimes you start quite early working. What are you, what are you working on right now?
Yeah, so before 6 p.m., have my serious hat on, uh, and at both as a capital allocation manager. Sounds pretty fancy, but
It is.
in simple terms, I juggle financial planning and analytics for right hell in vertical. So it's a global role. I make sure that our budgets overall make sense and we are not throwing the money out of the window.
Mhm.
But yeah, I spend my days running the process overall, organizing people, I don't know, getting everyone doing their budgets properly, comply with all the requirements that we are doing, revising those budgets, having endless conversations with so many people, like country teams, data science, top management, I have enormous amount of stakeholders on my daily basis. So yeah, basically a lot of numbers, a lot of talks, and sometimes this occasional crises of why suddenly this Google sheet is broken and all that stuff.
No, it's growing.
It's always broken. Yes, you fix it and it's still broken.
And it never breaks in a regular day, at 10 a.m. It's usually at 6 p.m. on a Friday, right?
Yes, exactly the situation today. Yeah.
Tell me something. In the end, for the people that don't know what boat is, because a lot of people, a lot of people that are listening here, they don't know boat. They don't know how big is the amount of money you're investing, just so they can have an order of significancy. How
Um,
big is it what you're doing right now?
you can't
As you're
stop.
saying, simple things, but we know it's huge.
Yeah, I can't tell the numbers how much we are
Yes.
losing. Yes, but we are working with very big budgets, it's millions of euros, and we are
45 Chris.
uh, 45
I know.
countries. Yeah, like we are working with countries in Europe, Africa, rest of the world. We expand to a lot of markets right now, so the coverage is quite big. Yeah, the scope of the work overall, like I'm not working only with financials. Like for me to make my job good, I have to
Mhm.
understand also the market performance, like all other important factors that can impact the decision making on our investment allocation and etc. So I always deal like with different functions who can bring the perspective, and especially like local teams here are very helpful. So yeah, the scale is pretty big. The company itself is also big. I think we have more than 3,000 people employed here. We have like several verticals. Right, Helen is the biggest one, but we also have micromobility, food, and the business vertical where we do the B2B services and etc. So, and yeah, we are still exploring the options for growth.
Amazing. She was the queen of money. We were working together. That's how we got to know each other. Like when I was also working at Bull. And I remember that like she was the fancy one. We were all asking for money. She was like deciding who get money, like in 45 countries. I was always like, I want to be her when I grow up. So let's see. Still have a few years. I still have a few years. But quick question that I have is that have you always dream about working with capital allocation when you were like, I don't know, 7, 8 years old? So people wanted to be astronauts, singers, and you said, I want to work with capital allocation in tech. What is like these, or you had something different in mind?
um, I didn't get like say it again. What do you
No,
mean?
don't worry, don't worry. The question is, have you always dreamed about working with capital allocation, or
Uh,
you had, like something else in mind when you were young and you will end up like this because of
well,
life?
I mean, like if I talk about my childhood dreams, like of course I never thought that you would like that. But I always dreamed about having a red cabriolet, and I understood very good that I need to deal with money.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Eh?
So, so yes, I always was interested, like overall in economics, and I think business analytics, and that's what I was doing before. Like that's what my experience was always around that stuff. Like I started my career as financial analyst,
Mhm.
working on Danone Nutrition. This is like a huge multinational FMCG company, French one,
Mhm.
and like baby nutrition. Like I worked there for a year, and it was like a
Great.
great experience because the scale was not big, so it was like Ukrainian office, right, Ukrainian business unit, but just because the scale was not big, like I was able to work closely like with all departments to understand how the business models should work, how the business should in general be executed and run.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was like the great high level understanding, like the good grounding, I would say, for me to understand overall how business should work. But it was quite boring. And I remember that I said, like, I declared that, like, never again I will work in finance. you know,
I knew. Yeah, never again.
never again. And look where I am now.
Okay. This was like you did like this for a year, right?
Yeah,
And
it was
for
like
me, yeah.
it was my start. So I did that. Like I actually did that when I was still studying at the university. So I didn't
Mhm.
find that stuff. But then, like when I decided to try something different, and I went to consulting, and I joined Ernst& and Young or UI currently. So like I think it was like a huge dream for the students from
Yes.
the universities usually, because they market it very well. Like they come to your universities, they sell you that like you will be the successful person, you will have amazing career growth, exciting
Mhm.
opportunities, everything. Of course, like they are quite upfront about this downsides regarding the overtimes, I don't know, below the average pay and all of these small drawbacks. But that basically this is the price you pay temporary for boosting like your market value overall, right? So
Okay.
line in your CV, like it means that you will be popular like on the market.
Oh my.
And it me like I think that's like it's true
Uh-huh.
in in some way, but yeah, like I think it was like an overall great career move for me. I got made in like learning and learning experience, and overall like I worked with really great projects that were very different. So
Mhm.
they were very diverse. Like for example, like I worked with government reforms.
Oh, okay, in Ukraine.
Yeah, like I was
Wow.
working on the medical reform in Ukraine. Like, and
Nice.
yeah, it was just creation of some entity, basically on some institution in Ukraine. So that was quite like unexpected for me, but still like done somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like I worked on overall, we had a lot of projects on operational restructuring. It's like when you reorganize the organizational structure, reorganize the processes, and all of that stuff. I worked on like financial systems implementation, review of IT infrastructure in companies. Like my clients were overall. Like I worked with biggest oil and gas companies of
Okay.
Ukraine and Russia. I worked with like national broadcaster, IT companies. So it was very diverse,
My God.
right?
How long
So,
were you there?
uh,
How long were you there?
almost 4 years.
Ah, 4 years. So you had
Yeah.
like time to do like a little bit of everything.
Yes, I tried everything, and that's the thing, like about consulting overall. Like it's like
Uh,
a dating for industry. Like
yeah.
you get the taste of everything, but you don't really settle down for
Okay. So
like this.
being kind of like dating around for 4 years in
Yeah.
companies, so like, no, now is the moment that I want to settle down. This is
Yeah.
when it went like fully into one industry.
Yes. So I realized that like if I stay there longer, I would never become like an expert in anything because it's just they throw you to different projects. They, of course, you do that with the manager supervision, but you are not really an expert in that, right? Well, after university, you have zero expertise in anything, but you have to prepare some, I don't know, fancy presentations and tell executives of these big companies how to do their job. Like it sounds insane, right? And you learn from the managers, but at the same time, it's like I just realized that like if I do not leave, if I don't leave, and if I don't become like an expert in some specific field, at least something more concrete, I would say.
Yeah.
I have like a huge risk of staying like in consulting forever and like being there just like I don't know some kind of manager who sells typical projects and like that's it. And I didn't like this. Also, like for another reason that you actually never implement anything there properly, right? So you just prepare a fancy doc, a deck, share this presentation, and that's it. Like you never know, like what happens after. Like, was it implemented or not? What was the result? Like, what was it actually adequate or not? Like you don't know.
Huh?
So that was a little bit like demotivating to some extent, and I decided that like I have to leave and somehow develop in some specific field.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, I joined Sanofi. This is another French company. Like I have something for this French.
French companies. Okay. Okay.
So I worked there like in business analytics. I became there like a head of growth performance. That was like a hub for Ukraine. Also, like I worked on Ukrainian scale and that was also a pretty good experience. I spent there 2 years. I was like kind of part of a leadership team. I was also working with different departments, analyzing the business performance, the trends, the market conditions, competitors, like marketing strategies, like everything that they are doing there. Um, Overall, like analyzing the business performance from different angles. It was not only about financials, but overall business performance. So in a way that basically I helped my GM to make decisions and I don't know to present that somehow to
Yeah.
all the leaders that we have. So it was really interesting experience. Like I enjoyed that. And the pharmaceutical industry overall, like it's also like quite huge in Ukraine. I think overall in the world, to be honest, not in Ukraine. We
I
work
can
like
use a lot.
yeah, we work with like enormous budgets. Like I don't know, speaking about Ukraine, if you turn on TV, I think like 90% of the ads it's pharmaceutical products. So this is basically the only industry.
Ads are pharmaceutical products.
Yeah, I think so. Like
No.
maybe more. Yeah, just because it's the only industry who has so huge budgets, basically.
Okay.
And it's interesting to observe how basically the marketing strategies work, where should we invest, like how these programs perform, and etc. So it was really like interesting experience. And then, yeah, I worked there 2 years, and then both found me. And I think that for this position, I had like a good mix of experience because initially like I joined my role and it was not finance, so like it
Mhm.
was actually business analytics. So
Nice. Oh,
then we got renamed a little bit. It shifted focus towards financials more, but I think I had a good combination exactly because I had experience in working of finance. I had experience working with business analysis. So I had like the general common sense, I would say, like of working with business and looking at numbers in more holistic way, not only limiting myself to, I don't know, P&L and balance sheet.
mhm.
So yeah, I think that having this diverse experience of working with different industries, like that's where I think consulting helped me. Um, Again, the combination of different stuff that I was doing, like in business analysis and
Mhm.
financials, it was a good combo right now here because yeah, it helps me a lot right now, and I think it was really useful experience.
Okay, okay. There is like a lot to unwrap there. So let me get like a little bit like earlier, like down your career. So
Yeah.
pretty much you shift from Danone, like industry physical products to
Mhm.
like consulting, right?
To consulting, yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. How did you feel like when you were working in consulting, like already like advising these CEOs of like huge corporations? You were quite young, I imagine.
Yeah.
And you were like, well, you have to, I don't know, like launch this new product. You have to fire 80% of the people. How was it for you?
I
Like,
mean, I would be honest, right? So I will tell
yeah,
how
yeah, yeah.
it works. Like how it works. You have a manager who is basically communicating everything, right? So he is usually like going to the top management and presenting that stuff. Of course, like I participated in those meetings. Like I listened, I contributed where I could. When I became a senior there, and all, like the more senior I became, the more involved I was in those conversations. But overall, like it's usually the job of the manager, like senior manager, who is dealing with the project owners basically in the
Mhm.
company to do that stuff. But yeah, like it was really stressful. I remember when we work with like the biggest oil and gas company in Ukraine, like, and you come to those top managers and you understand that, oh my god, like they are sharks, like you.
And yeah, it's
They know like everything in this life, and you're just a person who graduated a year ago
useful.
university, and they see that you are young and they suspect that you don't know anything. So it was tough, but in a way, like it also helps to build the confidence and not being afraid to speak with people, to share
Yeah.
your ideas, because sometimes like they need their fresh sight. Sometimes they're actually interested to hear the opinion from people outside the industry, right? Because it's quite difficult to find like the managers in consulting who work exactly like for example we work with national broadcasting company, right? Nobody worked with national broadcasting and we had to optimize the processes there somehow.
Okay.
And when you meet like people who like work on TV, exactly like we had the meeting with TV stars, like local TV
Really?
stars. Yeah, like they're running the show, right? And their
Yeah,
show
yeah.
is done. and you have to meet them and like listen like how it's working right now, what doesn't work, what do they want to change, and then you just have to analyze that stuff and somehow put it together and propose solutions, right?
Mhm.
And for them it's actually interesting to tell somebody who is not working there, who has no understanding how things done there, to come and give some fresh sight, and bring some new maybe solutions that they don't think even about because they just stay there for too long and they think that this is a normal way how to do the stuff. So sometimes people are really open for that,
Right.
and it can work cool. But like with government, for example, it never works because like people there, they're very stubborn and they don't want change. They hate you. You come and they just roll their eyes and stay like the eyes again. What do you want?
Yeah. Here?
We've done these things like for 20 years and it was okay. Like why suddenly you came here to change? Because usually like this governmental projects, they are sponsored not by the government but by this different funds, right? So for
Yeah.
example EBRD or and all that stuff. So it's like the initiation of the projects come from outside, and people this they are very resistant, and they don't want to do anything, and they don't help, right? Because here it's like there should be a cooperation because you do the interviews, you talk with all the people involved in the project,
Mhm.
all that stuff. You have to gather information, and the more people open, the better the outcome. But if they don't want any change, like they will just avoid you, ignore you, or just give you misleading information. So it's a little bit politics.
Of course. What was like the most exciting project you had like during this time? Like the one that you, I don't know, either like learned the most or you had like the most fun?
The most fun, I think it was like when we worked with. It was actually my first project when I changed,
Okay.
and we it was a project where we changed the organizational structure for IT company. Like it was Ukrainian company, but it's actually multinational. It's very big, like outsourcing
Mm.
company. Right now, it operates in a lot of European countries, so it was a really big client, and we had to change organizational structure and do cost optimization.
Oh, wow.
Uh, that we had to cut people, right? And we had to provide recommendations like who has to be fired and all that
And
stuff.
it was your first project.
Yeah, it was my first project. Of
Yeah.
course, like
Yeah.
I was doing it with supervision like of the manager, but it was
Yeah.
really interesting because we had so many interviews. I don't know, like we talked to every person in the company, I think, and it was so interesting to listen, like what are they saying, and the approach that we used to assess basically the efficiency of the processes of how people are using their time and all that stuff. So
Uh-huh.
it was really interesting, and I enjoyed it a lot. And it's just because the client itself, like they also like the top management there, they're usually very like they are not Ukrainians in most cases, like in London as usual.
Forest.
Yes. So it was interesting just to talk with people to hear their thoughts, like what they want to change, why. So it was really great learning opportunity for me, and I was really like I was impressed because I just joined and I started doing this like starting from the second day, and
Yeah.
it was oh my god, like whatever they told me like on those lectures at the university, it's true. Like I
Mhm.
came here like and I'm doing all that exciting stuff. So
I'm smart.
I liked it. But the worst thing in consulting is like working with government, like on
Hate to. Not because they're stubborn, like not that open.
yeah, exactly. Like and that was actually the reason also why I left because we had too many public projects. I mean, project for public sector. It was annoying, like, and that's why I decided that no, like, I can't do that stuff anymore. Like, I want to work with real business where people are interested in performance, in achieving some results. Because in government, like, nobody cares about that. Like, they just want to do things somehow. It working, don't touch it.
We have a saying in Brazil that says that pretty much is like a team that is winning is never changed. And I would say like government wise, it's kind of like the same. You don't fix until it's broken.
Yeah,
If it's
yeah,
kind of broken, it's not broken. You just put some silver tape.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is how it works.
Do you miss because you like it seems like half of your career you were in consulting and now you have been working like mostly into these in-house strategy teams. Do you miss like a little bit of this dynamism, this dynamic environment that you used to have like in consulting? How does your heart feel like when you just like settle down and create a roots in one industry?
I mean, in Sanofi, I was bored. I would be honest, but it's just because like it's not really like the atmosphere there is not really for me. So I think that these big multinational companies they really work good for somebody who likes stability, predictability, who values like work-life balance a lot, and they just don't want to, I don't know, do a lot of things in their life. So it's like, no, I wouldn't say like that, but overall, yes, like it's really good for people who value stability a lot.
Mhm.
But for me, like I understood that I really enjoy working in a high-paced environment, right? So
Okay.
in a way, like I feel some I don't know, adrenaline maybe because of
Yeah.
like how things are stressful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I like to solve problems, you know. So and I want to explore. Um, I don't know. I want to bring ideas. I want to try them. I want to implement them. I want to see the results. And when you work in big stable company that where people already know how to do the stuff, like they exist for more than 100 years, right? So they tested out everything, like they already know what works, what doesn't work, and
Mhm.
usually they like very regulated internally. I mean, they set the rules, they have requirements, guidelines, like you can't do anything actually
Okay.
except like minor improvements on your like local operations, right? So that's basically that was not really like interesting for me, and I was kind of bored. But then yeah, I decided that okay, like I will join Bolt, and here actually I think I have the best combination, right? So I
Okay.
have like high paced environment. I can still test out different ideas, change the
Mhm.
implement something, and I see the result, right? So this
Okay.
is meeting point of consulting. Basically, like I enjoyed this dynamics, but I
Mhm.
want to work on something and from start to end and see like how it works. But yeah, actually, it has become possible only in both, like based on
Okay.
my experience, I would say. So yeah,
But do you feel like both or like tech companies in general, they're like far more high paced than consulting? Because consulting is also perceived as being quite high paced, no?
it's really high paced. I mean, the culture in consulting overall, um, I would say like um, it's like a special word, right? So
Okay.
I don't know if that's like the I don't know American culture because it's American company or it's like
Mhm.
typical consulting stuff. I think it's the second, but like you can like grow there very fast and it's appreciated and it's like expected for everyone for
Yeah.
that you could grow fast if you perform right. This is important.
Yeah. Very good. Just out of like the kindness of people's hearts.
Yeah. So I, for example, I was promoted there every year and like and it was kind of normal. So if you deliver, like you will be promoted and everything will be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But like there is like a catch. Like if you don't get promoted, most likely it's a sign that yeah, like you will be out very soon, right? So
Got
not
it.
hear you immediately, but that's like a red flag for everyone. And basically, if you see that your coworker wasn't promoted this year, like you already understand that okay, like probably he will not stay here
Mm-hmm.
long time. And people are really stressed there, like because what, right? So they are doing stuff under pressure and under fear, I would say, of becoming fired. And that's what is different, I think, versus both. I will maybe explain later. Um, Yeah, so they like in consulting, they have overall mindset that things should be done no matter what. Nobody cares if it's a weekend, if it's 10 p.m. Basically, if something has to be finished, like you have tough the deadlines all the time. I don't know, there's like a
Mhm.
uh, project planning there. Always the case. So nobody cares. Like you will come to the office on Sunday, and nobody even will ask you like if you want to. And if you don't want, basically, and if you complain about working late, you will be like immediately labeled as not committed enough. Uh,
Yeah.
and you won't be promoted. So, and yeah, as a result, people are stressed that, okay, like if I don't work that hard, I will be just fired and they will replace me. So I think people are working there with a fear in many cases, not because they are really like interested and passionate about what they are doing. So that's, I think, the main like difference. And in tech companies, like I worked only in both, right? So I got like
Mhm.
this stuff.
Yeah.
Here, like I think the difference is basically people are really ambitious, very engaged in what they are doing, and it like it looks like they actually love what they are doing here. So in most cases, and it's like the biggest part of the people are like that. The biggest part of people with whom I work, like, and I work with mostly like global people from the global office, I mean headquarters. So
Mhm.
people there are like that in most cases. And I haven't seen like that much people in the company who would be that genuinely interested in what they are doing. And I feel that they are doing that not because they are forced to, right? That they are like afraid of losing their job or something like that, but just because they have like the freedom there to do stuff they like. If they have idea, they propose any change, and everyone agrees that it's for the better. Like you will get the green light and you will change the stuff, and you will have this opportunity to test out your ideas and execute everything you want. And in the end, like if results are good, of course, most like you will be rewarded and you will grow. And people, yes, here maybe like we we don't observe that much promotions lately, just because the company isn't growing that much that fast as it used to grow like 5 years ago, maybe. But overall, like you have still a lot of room for growth and development, because yeah, if you perform, if you have great ideas, like why
Mhm.
wouldn't, right? So while like in big multinational countries or countries companies, it can be tricky to grow. Exactly. So
Mhm.
that was also like the concern that I had. Like you can be 100% amazing employee, you can do your job amazing, but you don't really have a lot of options for growth, because
Mhm.
first of all, people get really comfortable working there and they can stay there for ages. Like I know so many people, like my ex-coworkers, who stayed like in company for more than 10 years. For
Mhm.
me, sounds insane. Like, oh my God, like 10 years in one place. Like, how can't you be bored? Like, what?
Yeah.
Don't like this world. Like,
What is out there? Yes.
yes. So, but it's like a very very typical situation, and in most cases those are the top managers, right? And these top managers, they don't want to leave. So for you like to take their spot, like good luck, right?
Mhm.
It can happen only if this person leaves. So basically, like I would just to sum up, like if you want I don't know, bring your ideas, grow, like climb this ladder and etc. Like I think it's better to go, I don't know, consulting on than these tech companies who are on this early stage still, not mature enough. Then you will have more opportunities for growth. You will get promoted fast and etc.
Mhm.
But uh, these big multinational mature companies, like it's quite hard unless you want to, I don't know, relocate, because they provide a lot of options for this transfers to other countries across the globe. So that's, I think, the only perk that you can easily relocate and start like the new role in another country if you're ready. but of course, some limitations to language and all that stuff still valid. So it's not that easy. So yeah, I think something like that.
Okay, okay. You mentioned a lot. There was like one word that you mentioned that I wanted like, to pick up, which it was apparently like freedom. So because there was like a huge change. So you were moving from a multinational company with a local operation where you have like not a lot of independence because most of the decisions were in HQ to being on the HQ it's yourself and making the decisions for like 40 plus countries, dozens of countries. So I'm trying to understand how did you go around like this big change in terms of like mindset from dependence or like lack of independency to like fully independence with like a lot of power? How do you manage stress? How do you manage prioritization? Because it's like a huge playing field. I don't know. It seems to me like you move like from a pond like to the ocean. To just go like how can you build up like the skills to like switch that fast of context? You know.
Mhm. uh, First 3 months I cried. But
It's good for the skin. It's good for the skin. Don't worry.
no, I was really stressed. I actually I don't know, like transition was stressful. Like I wouldn't pretend that it was easy for me. Like
Yes.
it was really stressful. I was worried, like I had this imposter syndrome, like what I'm doing here, like these people are so smart around me and I'm not, and all that stuff. But then with the time, it gets better. So, so yeah, overall, I think the more like you need to give yourself a time, right, to adapt, to see how the stuff is working here right now. And then you have just to start do this stuff, right? Like you have no other option. Like you need just to start trying and ideally fixing the stuff, right? Because I actually, like when I joined, I would say like the processes and how the things were working in a company, like in my area, like, in my function, like it wasn't ideal. So I had a lot of things to improve and to fix, and I think that helped. Like when I started trying and I saw that, okay, like I see some progress, I see some
Right.
improvement, I hear some good feedback. Then you become more confident, and then basically you already got some authority from the people, because the trickiest part here is to get the authority, right? Because
Mhm.
you come as a completely like random person from the outside. Everyone is looking at you asking like, who is that?
Yeah.
Why is she here? And actually, when I joined, like my role didn't exist before, right? So it's like
Uh-huh.
next the person. Like they created the role, they hired me, and everyone was just looking at me like, who is that? Like why we should talk to her? Like why she's asking something, and etc. So uh here you just need to basically build some confidence in yourself, and somehow get the buy-in from the people you work with, and show them that they can trust you, that they can rely on you, and then basically you will have more freedom already to do the stuff you want there. Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Okay. That's a good take because like in the end, building trust is not like an easy or nor fast process. So I'm curious on how did you go around this? How did you build this authority that was required for you to do like the job? Because a lot of people they just assume that the authority comes with the job, but what happens like in most companies is the other way around. You build the authority, then you get the job. So I'm curious, and how did you build this one up? How long did it take? Like, what were the challenges?
Good question. I actually haven't thought about that.
Wow, we're warming up, you know?
Mm, but let's reflect together. Yes. um well, I have like the mindset of this get the things done, right? So when I have some task, I would say, right, or some goal, when I don't know, my manager sets the goal for me, or we have the common goal that we need to achieve. I really like work towards achieving that, right, and delivering that. And the more times you deliver that good, the good
Mhm.
quality, you say, the more likely people will start trust you and actually feel that they can rely on you. And when your manager can rely on you, then basically that's the point when you can feel more um, you can feel this freedom to do and initiate, and basically you have more power because he starts delegating stuff to you and all of that stuff, so you can build more responsibility, take more area of control, and etc. So this is also where you start growing professionally too, right? So I would say, like, yes, people can be always like concerned and don't trust you from the beginning. But if you prove with some actual performance and some good examples of the deliverable that you delivered, right, then actually I don't see any reason why people wouldn't trust you in the end, and why wouldn't they, like, why wouldn't you get this authority in eyes, right? Because that's the most like obvious stuff. Like if you do things good, everything.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, it's pretty much like if I'm summarizing what you're saying, it's consistency, like how you deliver to these people, and kind of like taking time, giving time for them to start trusting you.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, this is quite exciting. One question that I have, it's because we always have like these two different like schools or like fronts. One is that you are in a global team, and from your side, you want to bring like order and organize the work so it's easier for you to understand and give recommendations. But from the other side, we have like the local conditions, and that you have like to dive deep and really understand what is happening in Kenya, Estonia. How do you like navigate across these two different levels? Because one is like hyper local, because when you're talking about like mobility, it's not about saying I'm gonna take a taxi in Brazil. I'm taking a taxi in São Paulo in this neighborhood and it has to work, versus how you manage like everything in dozens of countries.
Mm.
How do you go around it? You go with like a global approach, a local approach, something in between.
Um. So like in my job, I think it's more about organizing the process itself in the first place,
Mhm.
right? And organizing the process is like you have a lot of factors to consider there. This is what I learned basically in both, because this is the place where I actually was not just proposing the improvements to the processes, but actually doing this process improvements.
Uh-huh.
So you need like to have some strong system, right? You need to ensure that you have some standardization, automatization of the stuff, and clear communication, and overall like accountability of the people, right? So planning, like it's like a project planning, right? So you have to plan everything in a detail, and I do that in a really detailed way. Mm. So like for example, like I have the plan, like the planning of activities or the processes I'm doing is actually breaking down like by steps, by days and sometimes by hours.
Mhm.
So actually know like how much time any activity or any step would take. Try to analyze like what potential dependencies I can have upfront, and set some buffer time in some space, and have them but some bottlenecks and all of that stuff. So this is like the first crucial like step where you should start from when you work like with a lot of people, because for us, like for me, 100 or 40 for 40 plus countries, it actually means I don't know, maybe more than 150 people who can reach out to me, and I need to manage all of them and organize somehow. So, and when you work with that much people, with that many people,
Mhm.
you have to ensure that they basically know what exactly needs to be done, who is responsible for what, who is the contact people, and all of that stuff, right?
Mhm.
So, another things, and basically, we need to set like a part of these timelines. You need to keep people accountable, right? So you have to explain deadlines, roles, responsibilities. I follow up like regularly on everything
For
and
her.
keep keep people on their toes. Like first, I follow up nicely, then I can push a little bit stronger if needed. So I'm tracking the progress. Like, and it's important to keep an eye on the things, like, and ensure that everything is on track, like already from the beginning of the cycle. Because if you suddenly just leave the things as they are, like wait for 2 weeks, like
Mhm.
the status, like you can find yourself in a very bad situation when everything is not done and nobody can.
Okay.
So that happened to me. So I
No,
know.
yeah. Your experience.
Yes, yes. And of course, the communication, I think, is a key. Like it's everything, right? And I learned it in both because when I communicate anything, like any announcement of, I don't know, I set some rules, I set some requirements, I change the process, I do some updates, I have to communicate that. And I communicate that to this 100 plus people, right?
Mhm.
And basically, here, if you don't provide like clear message, if you use some vague, I don't know, confusing messages, like and wording, like wording, people care a lot about wording, like well, one word that doesn't like that doesn't appear nice to people. I don't know, or
Mhm. Okay.
like you will just end up with endless like follow-ups. Your thread in Slack will get up to 100 messages. Like
Oh,
people will
Lord.
start asking, complaining. There will be a lot of misunderstandings, mistakes as a result. The
Mhm.
bad the frustration of the teams because they don't understand what they want and etc. So this is what I learned, that like in our case especially, like you need to be very clear and precise on what you are telling. And sometimes for me it can be okay to spend half of the day to prepare proper message and send it out, but ensuring that I included there everything and I answered
Mhm.
potential questions already up front.
Basically.
I won't receive this 100 messages afterwards. So yeah, it's like really important. Yeah, and yeah, so basically that's it. But for my work overall, like we are analytics, right? So
Mhm.
for us, like we are working with data, we are working with tons of spreadsheets. Like it can be thousands of files that we need to consolidate on a global
Okay.
level. So
Mhm.
it it can be a disaster. So we always work on standardization and automation of the stuff. And I'm lucky to have like the great team who has amazing technical skills, and they can organize all the data flows and all the files like in a way that we can do like global consolidation in 20 seconds. Like that was our recent accomplishment, I would say. So I'm really proud of guys. Yeah, so we test out always new ways. Like we try to improve the processes because also like we want to, with manual work is an enemy. Like in our case, we need to
Mhm.
evolve as much as possible. So we always work on like finding the ways how we can automate the stuff, how we can standardize our reportings, how we can reuse the stuff that was done previously. Because like previous when I just joined, like every month you create a new report from scratch, and it was a
Mhm.
disaster. Right now, we don't have this issue. I would say like most of the stuff that we do, like we update quickly, and that takes a lot of time. And you can focus on more valuable work and actually like organizing, analyzing the data that you see the budgets.
Mhm.
That's the trickiest part, I would say. Like when you are overwhelmed with manual stuff, like you actually don't have time for proper analysis and doing the insightful work, right? So this is what
Yeah.
and to focus and all of these things, like continuous improvement, revision of what is working, what works well, what doesn't work. If something doesn't work, then you have to think what should we change, and then reiterate, right? So it's
Yeah.
never ending process improvement, and
Mhm. Never. I like one. question that it came to my mind as you were mentioning, because as like I'm also like a project management and a lot of things, and it's really nice and easy to manage a project when everything is going well and to drive accountability when things are going well. The question is, how do you drive accountability when people are not delivering as they should deliver? What is your go-to like playbook when, let's say, if someone had to do something on day X and they do it like day X plus 7?
Mhm.
How do you manage this conflict for the project?
I mean, it depends, right? On if that's my team and we are doing like we work internally on some project, that would also be that could be prevented if you have a good project plan, right? So I remember like in the most stressful periods, when things basically could go crazy, like and.
Mhm.
We we didn't have time for anything. Everything has fallen apart, and everyone was just stressful. Like I had daily stand-ups. Basically, we had the proper plan of every step with exactly hours like to complete, and
Mhm.
like that, right? So there is actually no way that somebody will go for 2 days and do nothing, right? So
Nice.
if you control people, like they will
Mhm.
what they have to deliver. Otherwise, like they need to explain what they've been doing. So um, and you have to align with people, right? So I don't said that like you have to complete this in 2 hours. So we sit together and we discuss how much time is required for that, and then we plan the work right accordingly. So if the person committed himself to do this stuff, like he will then be accountable to deliver. But yeah, tracking overall of the progress, it's really important because yeah, in our case, if one person throw the ball, like it will have the domino effect, right? So you
Yes.
can't allow that stuff. So you need to control people and control the projects overall and the progress. But talking about like working with country teams, I would say um, like you need to tell upfront, right, what are the consequences,
Mhm.
not following the deadlines, or I don't know, not meeting the requirements or the rules, or etc. So people like they are aware, and then if they do not deliver, like then they have to be prepared to face these consequences, right? And open and honest about that, so it shouldn't be a surprise for them. So usually like I know that by experience, when there are no rules, like nobody follows anything, right? So
Yes.
it's improvisation. But I started to set some boundaries, and then all the stuff when I set the rules and requirements for the budgets and all of that, all
Mhm.
these things, people actually follow because they know that okay, like if I don't follow, then they will override the number, right, for me.
Yes.
So there is no way that it will be accepted anyway. So I have to find a way how to make it myself, right? So
Mhm.
that's it basically. You have just to set the rules, communicate them clearly, and explain the consequences, and keep
Mhm.
people accountable. And yeah, and do regular follow-ups, just
Okay.
because people can get lost easily, because I also understand them, like everyone is overwhelmed with the work,
Yes.
so
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. Well, one thing that always surprises me is how you manage to do like all of these with such like a lean team. So what I wanted to focus now is like shifting a little bit for like team management, the traction, who you're looking for in your team, because it's like a lot to deliver by yourself. And I know that you don't have like a 20 people team as some listeners might be imagining. So how sure that you can do all of these with, I don't know, 2, 3 people?
um I don't know actually. I question that myself as well. Like sometimes we have too much of work. I would be honest with you, but overall, I think I'm lucky. Like with the people in my team, like we have amazing team, and you know that also from your experience. Like we have amazing like modeling team who supports us. My team as well. Like so, I have two people, right, in my team, and we have some modeling team who also supports us technically. We have the like three people, and they they can be also involved in some significant projects. So, but overall, like, yes, the team is not big. And here, basically, uh, what is important for me? I would say that first of all, it's being also like upfront with the people to set clear expectations, right? So plan the work, you tell people exactly what is expected, when is expected. So it's all about planning, project-based planning, and all of that stuff. So, because in most cases, if expectations are set wrong, most likely, like you will end up with like bad performance, right? Because the person didn't know what is expected from him or her, and therefore he didn't deliver that, right? So need to set clear expectations from the beginning, explain what is expected, when it's expected, how will the success be measured with deliverable, and then already it's a question of the motivation of the person and his ambition, basically, if he wants to deliver that, perform and all that stuff. So as a manager, you need to ensure this thing first. I think so. Yeah, but overall, I highly encourage like the ownership, like, and some proactivity. So this is what I really appreciate in people. Uh, don't really like doing micromanagement, like I sometimes do. But like I have some issues with delegation, to be honest. Anxiety of losing the control of the stuff. I'm working on that. Like the I really like appreciate when people can take the full ownership of the stuff, so they know like the scope of the work that we need to deliver, and if they can proactively step in and take the ownership over some big part of the work and do that independently, like that would be just a god for me because yeah, that's really important, and I really value this quality people around, because these people are making the impact, basically. Like if you can take the responsibility, if you are not afraid of this responsibility and you want to show up like what you're capable of, and that's only possible if you're ready for the ownership. And these people are growing usually in the companies, in my opinion, not the ones who just sit and wait until you tell them do this in this way, like exactly as I said, like step by step. So this usually doesn't work in a favorable way. So yeah, I think, and of course, skills like technical skills, knowledge is really important. But I really care a lot about the attitude, because you can teach people, they can learn uh, how to do the stuff, but the attitude, the soft skills, right, the mental, the mindset, right, this is something that is really hard to change. And so usually, like when I also do hiring, like I experienced that already 3 times. This- So this is what I look at mostly. Is basically I'm looking for something is for somebody like with good adaptability, good like problem solving mindset, and somebody who is really like curious, proactive, passionate about the stuff he's doing, who wants to do a lot of stuff, who is interested in his career, right? Not just doing that because he has paychecks, right? Uh, but actually somebody who can make the work part of his life, right? And for whom it will be meaningful, interesting, and who will be excited about doing the job, right? Not just doing a favor to me that he did the task, but because he will see this as his own growth, right? As his own development and etc. So this is something that I really appreciate, and this is something that I actually don't see in people. If I've done like recently, I had hiring experience. Like I spent almost 4 months, maybe like talking to different candidates, and what I observed is basically people. do not want to put an effort, right? And that was intriguing to me.
Yes.
They are looking for a job. They are interested in finding the job, and we give like I think amazing opportunity. And the people are really like chill, like they just. I had maybe 5 candidates who didn't want to make test tasks.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, and I was like, how do you imagine like I would hire you without seeing actually what you are capable of, right? And that this task it wasn't like enormous, like it was fine. I don't know. We gave I think 1 week to make it, so it was okay. But instead, what I received basically, I received like poems like that, you know me, saying that you know what, like I have actually personal life, and I actually have full time job, and
oh
I don't.
my God.
And I don't have to do your test task, and it's too big, and you have to pay me for that, and all that stuff. And I was like, "Come on, guys!"
What's like you? Some people, she was kind of like actual like messages.
Yeah, like it was me, like complaining, like that. Why you are doing this? Like, why you asking for this test task? I won't do it. Like, I want to have like I have my priorities. And I was like, come on, like if you don't want to do this, like I won't hire you. Like I will find somebody else. And people should understand that like we live right now in a very competitive environment because
Yes.
I think that the Gen Z and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
of young people they a little bit overestimate like themselves in this regards because right now we live in a globalization, right? The world is open. Like in Thailand, for example, we have most of the people they are not Estonians, right? They
Yeah.
come from all over the world,
Uh-huh.
and it costs basically nothing to take a person from any country in the world. And there are a lot of people who actually want to take this job, who want to relocate and do anything to achieve their dreams, right? And
Okay.
this is what we see, like talking with people, I don't know, from India, Indonesia, um, all of this, like Asia. Those are, I think, the most ambitious guys right
Yeah.
now on the market,
Emerging markets, yes.
and they were smart, and they were smart. And then
Yeah.
when you talk to Europeans, because these guys, like those were Europeans, these guys are very chill. Like they don't, do not, they are not afraid of anything. Like they think like
Uh-huh.
they will find the opportunity. Like it just sits and waits for them, but it's not like the world is operating right now. Like nobody cares actually. Like, do you have a job right now or not? And like if we are looking for somebody who will perform, who will work. Like if you're not capable to do the test task, like what are we talking about?
Exactly. And it's so common for companies, right now, tech companies at least to do this. And like all processes that I have seen is like the same. It's
Mhm.
not something that only your company is doing, right?
Okay. Yeah, exactly. So I'm very surprised. So that's like the key. Like I'm looking for people with right mindset in the team. Then actually you can do everything if people
Yes.
are interested. And if people are interested in what they are doing, if they love what they do, like you
Yeah.
can deliver a lot of cool stuff. And if you have to convince somebody to work, like that's where the problem starts. Yeah.
I would say that's where like salary it's there for, you know.
Yes.
This is
Yeah.
all the convincing that you need. It's gonna arrive like in your bank account at least like once per month.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Why? Now that we're closing because I know that you have a hard stop soon. I have one last question that is related to looking now. You're already working for almost 10 years or something like this. So I'm wondering what were like the three things that you learned like the most, like working in the field that you are working, that you would love to know as like this young person just fresh out of college.
Yeah. Um, I have a lot of insights for this. As you said, yes, I have like 9 years of experience. I learned.
Yeah.
Um, I would say like most important thing that I recently I think realized actually is that to make yourself happy at work, you need to understand that you are not working for your boss. or you are not working for the CEO or shareholders. No, like that's bullshit. Like you are working for yourself, even if you are employed in a company, right? So whatever you are doing, you are doing this for yourself, for your learning, for your experience, for your growth, right? Because the mindset basically of working for somebody, like because you are doing a favor, this will eventually end up with burnout, like in 100% cases.
Yeah.
Because yeah, like you don't you don't get basically anything, right? So you just in this case you work just for the paycheck, I would say, right? And if you work just for the paycheck and you spend the vast majority of your time actually at work, um, you will end up very frustrated and person and dissatisfied with your life. So it's important to like what you are doing and yeah, to understand that everything the better you do your job, the more skilled you become, and as a result, basically, these skills and knowledge that you gain at one place, it will open like the doors for lots of
Mhm.
and a lot of people they also get really frustrated because they don't receive, I don't know, recognition sometimes or not appreciated enough. Yeah, they think so. So instead of focusing on this external validation of yourself, like you need to focus on yourself and become the
Um,
best version of yourself. You need to be satisfied. I would say, like, I have a rule that I do not give, I don't know, if I have some deliverable, right? I don't know, any tasks that I accomplished, I won't send it out to people, to my manager, unless I'm not happy of how it looks or how it works, right? So
uh-huh.
like would be first of all, I should be convinced that that's the best I could like make here. Of course, sometimes there could be compromises, like if you
Yeah. For
well,
3 hours, you have to do it. Yeah.
yeah, like if you're running out of time, but also like you have to have some trade-off of quality plus value. But in most cases, like I'm trying to do something that I like myself, and
Yeah.
then send it out. And only I think in this case, basically, um like you will never feel that, I don't know, your time is wasted, right? That you are doing something that you don't like or anything like that. So it will just will help you, even if you don't get this appreciation recognition here, you will go on the market, you will find anything else. So that's the most important things, like
Yeah.
focus on becoming the best version of yourself and everything will be fine. If it doesn't works in current company, like, you will find something else.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's basically like first point I would say for me. Another stuff, what I would love to say, that's actually like recent insight that I had.
Mhm.
Um, Basically, it's really crucial, like to sum up, it's crucial to take like the responsibility for your life in general and your career, right? So, like the truth is for me is like whenever you are right now, in most cases, that's the result of like your choices, right? Of the way you lived your life or decisions you made. Like, of course, there could be some external factors, but in most cases, it's your choice that led you to this position. And when you have some, I don't know, dissatisfaction with where you're currently in, you still have a choice, right? And people like a lot to complain about the stuff, but still, you have a choice. You can leave the
Yes.
company, or you can change the way things are working in the company, right? So there are two options actually. You either quit if you don't, or you try to change. So if
Yes.
and still you're not happy, right? But you don't want to quit. It's your choice, right? Still.
Yes.
So you have to somehow take the ownership, like take initiative, initiate these improvements, and actively work on making the things better for yourself. That in,
Mhm.
because I think a lot of people they assume that if they just complain very loudly, somebody will come fix the stuff for them and make them happy, right?
I was just gonna say, like, finally, I'm here to grant you like three wishes.
Yes.
I agree. I fully agree. I have like some friends that they're always complaining about their jobs and I just ask them like, do you say this to your manager? Are you looking for another job? Then
Yeah.
like my ears are not toilet, you know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like nobody will fix the things for you, so
Yes, fully agree.
you just need to understand that yeah, like it's your responsibility to make yourself happy in this life and your job. So if you don't change the things, it's your problem. And
Yes.
I think yeah, overall, like it's also like people, the one who complains the loudest, they won't get promoted. I would say 100%.
Mhm.
Just look, it doesn't make sense, like on
Yes.
makes sense to like, but it makes sense to I don't know, bring some ideas, solutions, try to change the stuff at your work, and then basically you actually can even move forward, and it can be some good start for your career development. So I think like that's pretty important. And yeah, I observed such cases, a lot of such cases in my life in different jobs, and I completely doesn't make sense. Like no complaints
Mhm.
for anyone. So just do the stuff, and it's better to focus on working.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. And the third
Okay.
one?
Um, I would say it's very simple.
Okay.
If you don't ask, most likely you will also get a no, right? And I'm talking here about promotions, growth, and etc. So in all my cases, I would say I got promoted a lot of times, like at every company where I worked. But in most of these cases, I was pretty straightforward and upfront with all my ambition. I told my manager, like,
Yes.
I will work like pretty hard here, but I
Uh-huh.
want to, get something for that. So let's align, like, what can I get, and it's so I always clearly like told that okay, like I have some ambitions and I will work towards them, right? So just tell me what exactly I have to do to make this happen, and then I will deliver if I can, right? Of
Mhm.
course. But
Exactly.
I know like what is expected for me to perform, and it's it's really like no way people should assume that okay, I work hard. I hope that people will just notice this
Mhm.
to me and propose me amazing opportunities, right? Of course, it can happen, but in most cases, if you work really great and you don't demand anything for yourself, nobody cares. Like,
One word.
yeah, if you are happy to stay at your position with this pay, you don't want any raise. Like, company will be happy to keep you there forever, right? So
Mm.
that's
Yeah.
the hard reality of our life in capitalism.
Yeah.
So yeah, you always need to ask like for what you want. Like worst, what can happen? Like they can tell you no, but
Yeah.
nobody will fire you for that. But potentially you can get what you want, right? And
Mhm.
this is the best solution that can be in this case. So yeah, I think that's key insights for me.
And really insightful. Like honestly, I love how straightforward they are.
Yeah.
Honestly, thank you. Thank you so much for all the insight that you have shared, not only right now, but like throughout like this whole episode. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people they fell in love with your insights, with your mind, with your voice. And speaking of which, for anyone that wants to follow you and support your projects, tell us like where they can find you.
To follow me, like I have LinkedIn, but I don't post anything there.
It's all should they go for TikTok?
Well, yeah, they can also follow me on TikTok if they want to see any fashion updates.
Okay, okay.
And I have Instagram also, personal Instagram. So I don't post a lot there, but sometimes you can see beautiful sunsets from my office here. So you can follow
Yeah.
me.
A nice office in Warsaw, so it's really fancy.
It's amazing.
But I highly recommend for anyone, reach out like in LinkedIn, drop her a message. She's like one of the smartest and like more ambitious people that I've worked with in my career. So honestly, I would say just follow her. She's like really inspiring for anyone around. And thank you so much, Tanya.
Thank you, Fishy. It was amazing experience for me. First,
Pleasure was all mine. And for all those at home, the listeners, have a good evening. Speak to you soon, or how we say in my country, Jakuyu.
Good. Thanks. Bye bye.